In this video, I'm going to teach you the 5 keys to a good life. This is from 20 years of personal development and spiritual growth. And these are the 5 keys that I think that everybody needs to live the good life. So let's get right into it. My name is David Haas. I've been doing this work about uncovering why I am the way that I am so that I can live a life full of joy, abundance, all the good stuff of life. And so if you're interested in learning more about this, then stick around and watch this video because I think you're going to get something from these 5 keys. So the first key is freedom. And so this is something that everybody is after. Everyone wants freedom. But the funny thing about freedom is that we think it exists out there. And this will be a common theme of throughout the course of all 5 of these lessons is thinking that something is out there. So let's just look at freedom. You want to get more freedom. So you think that in order to get freedom, you need wealth. And so the reality is that freedom already exists for all of us and it exists from within. And so in order to experience that freedom, we have to get to the root of why we're not free right now. So let's just say we want wealth and we think that wealth will buy us freedom. So once you have the wealth, what are you going to do with that freedom? Well, maybe you're going to spend more time with your family. And then the question to ask yourself is, well, why aren't you spending time with your family now? And it's because you're chasing wealth so that you can have freedom. And so you can see how this is like a vicious cycle. It's like the thing that we're trying to go get out there is also the source of why we are not experiencing the state that we are after now. And so when you start to see that, you can start asking yourself the question of, well, why don't I just spend more time with my family? What are the beliefs that were created from within that makes me say I need to go out and prove, or I need to go out and get this level of wealth so that I'm respected, so that I'm good enough, so that I'm worthy, so that I feel accomplished? What are the beliefs that I took on unconsciously throughout my life that have led me into this cycle of chasing freedom, but then not receiving freedom because of the chase of freedom? So when we learn this, then what we may do is we may just realize that we can take our foot off the gas. Now, here's the wild thing, is because I know all of the doers out there are going to be like really reluctant to taking their foot off the gas. But when you're in it, when you're in the hunt for freedom, you never have any head up time. You're head down, just thinking, I just need to get to 10 million, 100 million, billion, whatever it is, and then I'm going to have freedom. So when you have your head down, you can't see anything else. But if you were able to undo some of these programs that we're talking about, you could just take your foot off the gas a little bit. And in that taking your foot off the gas, you take your head up. And in that head up time, you may gain the clarity that will springboard you ahead of where the grind and the hustle and the head down would ever get you, right? So in head up time, we can see things more clearly. It's kind of like shower clarity, right? You always have your best ideas in the shower. Why? Because for a millisecond, you were completely present and you plugged into the infinite. And when you did that, you got that download of information. And so when we begin to access the freedom that already exists for us by just doing the thing that would make us feel free beyond all of the programs that we've taken on about having to do, then we may gain the clarity required to make massive leaps within our career, if that's where we're headed. So the thing about freedom is it's already available to us. We just have to undo the programs that make us think that we have to go out there and get it. The second one is faith in abundance. And so in faith in abundance is pretty simple. Faith is essentially not religious. It's about trusting that we are a part of the unfolding of the universe, this energy that is making us better, this energy that is making our lives better all of the time. There's nothing that we have to do to be a part of that. And so when we recognize that, all we have to do is show up every day and do our best. Let go of any expectation of outcomes. And when we do that, we remove all of the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the overwhelm. We just have complete and total trust that if we show up and do our best every single day, we are eventually going to get to where we want to go. And so if we're not showing up to do our best, we might want to start asking why. Like, for example, if we lack focus, if we have addiction issues, these are things that are preventing us from being the best version of ourselves. So we just stay committed to becoming the best version of ourselves, and we trust that if we stay on the path, we're going to get to where we want to go, and we let go of all outcomes, we're going to live a pretty flowing and stress-free life. On the reverse side of faith, when shit hits the fan, when life gets shitty, we also want to move into this faith. It's like I've multiple times throughout my life, I've kind of almost went broke, and that will create a lot of stress. But later in life, as I begin to tap into these principles, what I recognize is that it's all going to work out. It's all going to be okay. So while initially I might have that visceral reaction of, oh shit, I need to get to work and I need to do all of these things so that I don't go broke, I just recognize that that's connected to my fear of poverty, and I trust that it's all going to work out. That doesn't mean I don't do work, but it's no longer from this place of I have to and it's stressful and I'm struggling and I can't sleep, endlessly just think about it, and I'm trapped in the endless search of trying to figure out the answer to this problem, I just trust that the answer to the problem will be revealed to me as long as I continue to show up and do my best every single day. This also leads to like a stress-free life. So our faith is just a trust that it's all going to be fine, a trust that we're going to get to where we want to go, and a trust that everything that we need in order to get there is going to be revealed to us. It's a big step. The second part of that is abundance. Abundance is a universal principle. Abundance exists in nature. It's all around us. The maple tree doesn't produce one seed, it produces thousands of seeds. The only reason that we're not in abundance isn't because we haven't figured out the formula, it's because we haven't figured out how to unblock ourselves from plugging into that source of abundance. And so abundance is all around us. The things that block us are the things that are preventing us from feeling that flow. Okay, so for me, for example, like I've struggled with abundance, even though I've made leaps in my life to living more and more abundant life. But one of the major blocks was a belief system that I needed more information, a belief system that I didn't have what it takes. And because of that, I constantly shifted my focus. This was a block to tapping into that universal source of abundance. So if you can start asking yourself, what am I doing that blocks abundance? What are the behaviors, what are the survival patterns that I have that are blocking me from plugging into that universal source? Again, I do way deeper dive on my podcast. It's a 5-part series in my podcast. You can go check that out. It's also here on YouTube where I talk extensively about each of these, but here I want to go through the 5 steps quickly. The third one is gratitude. And so the masters of gratitude don't have to write out gratitude every day. They have become the state of gratitude. So the key to this is to recognize that our brains are hardwired to look at the bad. You get 99 out of 100 on tests. What's the first thing that you do? You flip to the one question that you got wrong. Why is this? Well, it was necessary for survival, right? We had to, like, if your brother ate a plant and he died, we had to make sure that we were hyper aware of that plant, so we also didn't eat it. And so for survival, we are hardwired to train to focus on the bad. But true masters of gratitude have rewired their brains to focus on the good. And the amazing thing about gratitude is when you do this rewiring, what ends up happening is gratitude is reciprocal, meaning the more you're grateful, the more things that flow into your life for you to be grateful for. So the more good you see, the more good you'll see, essentially. And so learning how to retrain the mind from focusing on the bad to focusing on the good is how we become the state of gratitude. So we don't have to write it out. We are literally seeing things to be grateful for in every second of every day, which is like a really amazing place to live your life. The fourth one is flow. And so I think the thing to recognize about flow is, we can do that by you completing this sentence. Life is so just put your word in there. And if you say if it's a bitch, it's grind, it's a struggle, it's hard, you're not in the state of flow. And a big thing that you can use to recognize that you're trapped in a state of force is that you're getting a payoff from remaining in the grind. Like if you grind and hustle and work hard and make money, get the girl of your dreams, whatever it is, you will feel deserving and rewarded of that achievement. But if it was just handed to you, you may not feel rewarded from it, and you may self-sabotage and end up going back into the grind, because without the grind, you don't feel worthy or deserving of whatever it is that kind of flows into your life. And this is true because we have like upper limit switches, and I've seen this throughout my life. It's like, I know I was trapped in like making like $50,000 a year, and then when I jumped into like a $200,000 a year range, I noticed that I would sabotage myself to bring myself back down to like the $50,000 a year. I would spend too much money, I would take on other business investments. I wasn't comfortable in the flow of wealth, right? And so part of stepping into the flow is to recognize that we have these limits. These are our comfort zones. Discomfort will also come from good. If you make $1 million a year, you may be so uncomfortable in that level of wealth because you've just surpassed all of your friends and family that you may self-sabotage and go back down to making $100,000 a year. So we want to recognize that we are getting a payout from the struggle, and we also want to recognize that we may be uncomfortable outside of the struggle. And the last one is relationships. And so there are 3 key relationships that I think are critically important for you to live a good life. One is with your partner, of course. The second is with family, and the third is with friends. And especially for men, the friend one is actually becoming more and more removed. Even in society today, we're seeing that people are becoming more and more isolated. The nuclear family is like a perfect example. It's like mom and dad are raising the kids. It's like if you are a parent and you're in a nuclear family where you don't have support from other family members, you will recognize that this was was never the way it was meant to be. It's like, because like if you spend 8 hours a day with your kid, you might lose your mind. Not because you don't love your kid, because raising kids is insanely challenging. It's also insanely rewarding, but in order for it to feel like such an amazing process, you need support from outside of this nuclear family. And so this is the trend that's happening all over the world, and through technology and everything, we are becoming more and more isolated. In order for us to live the good life, we have to have really good relationships. So what does it mean to have really good relationships, and what are the things that you could do increase the power of the relationship that you currently have? There's really only one thing, which is to drop all judgment and expectation of the people in your life. So when we have expectations of others, when we have judgments of others, what we end up doing is harboring this unconscious resentment. It's like sweeping the problems under the rug. We're not even conscious that we're doing it, but then one day there's this huge bump in the rug and we trip over it and knock out our two front teeth. So this resentment, the source of it is expectation. It's about looking out there for you to feel some sort of way. If you need your partner to feel loved because you don't feel from love within, if you need your in-laws to watch your kid so that you can feel supported, it's because you don't feel supported from within. If you need your friend constantly call you and text you so that you feel like he or she cares about you, it's because you don't care about yourself. And so if we can just recognize and have acceptance for why everyone is the way they are, and everything that we need from these relationships is already available for us from within, then we no longer have an expectation. We no longer need anything from anybody. And when you no longer need something from somebody, that's when we naturally attract good partners, good relationships, good family relationships. And so these are the 5 keys: freedom, faith and abundance, gratitude, flow, and relationships. If you can master any one of these 5, you're gonna already move into the good life. If you just took 1 month per one of these 5, in a matter of 5 months, you could completely transform your life. And you could be moving into a life of flow and ease and abundance, freedom. All of those things that you've always desired could be available to you, and all you have to do is look. If you got any value from this whatsoever, I just ask that like and subscribe, train the algorithm to see more content just like this, and you'll also get to see more videos from me. Thanks for taking the time to watch.